Zagrozili?
Almost.
Almost.
So with all due respect, are you sure this is our best option? I mean, why can't we just correct the problem?
Because my fucking nephew killed a dog. He stole a car.
So when saying why they have to flee, Abram instantly performs a distancing behavior and immediately begins expressing rapid blinking. And this is as a result of extreme sympathetic arousal. The adrenaline release causes increased motor system activation in the brainstem, triggering the involuntary blink circuits in the brain to fire rapidly, which helps lubricate the eyes for survival. He is terrified of John here, and his brain is actively preparing to encounter a physical threat, despite John not even being there.
A car which currently is among our inventory.
So we're giving everything up for a car?
It's not just a car. It is John Wick's car.
Oh. Sir, why don't we just give it back?
He killed my nephew, my brother, and doesn't know my man over his car and a puppy.
Abram's advisor is absolutely terrified of his boss here, and actively avoids eye contact throughout the entire interaction, which fits the power dynamics of the mob. Eye contact applies social pressure and can be confrontational, so actively avoiding it acts as a submissive signal that reinforces the other person's social dominance. Then, when Abram gets closer and removes the cigar from his mouth, the advisor visibly flinches, and this is an involuntary startle response, which is a brainstem-mediated reflex, triggered before higher-level threat assessment can engage. He is terrified of his boss.
You think it will stop now?
Sir, he's one man. Why don't we just eliminate him?
John Wick is a man of focus, commitment, the sheer fucking will. Killed 3 men in a bar with
a pencil. I know, I've heard the story,
with
sir.
a fucking pencil? Who the fuck can do that?
So we now see Abram expressing strong facial tension as he tells the story of John Wick. And he does this again due to strong sympathetic arousal, manifesting in his nonverbals. He is genuinely terrified of John, and after talking about the pencil story, the advisor shows jaw tension, again as a result of extreme sympathetic arousal. They both now realize the threat they're dealing with.
I can assure you that the stories you hear about these men, if nothing else, has been watered down.
У тебя моя машина.
Baba Yaga.
The moment John calls, Abram immediately experiences a strong spike in his arousal and enters the defense mechanism, with his respiration rate sharply increasing to provide his body more oxygen to assist in survival. He immediately performs a prolonged blink as a method of psychological self-protection, cutting visual contact to focus on internal regulation, and then immediately expresses rapid blinking as well as sympathetic tremors, shaking as a result of an adrenaline surge. He is utterly terrified. So when John gets inside, we quickly see just how much he loves his car. He rushes to put the keys in the ignition, and is about to turn the key when he abruptly pauses, and then looks behind him. He suddenly remembers the predicament he's in, forcing him to stop. And this is the whole point of the film. He dipped his pinky back in the pond, and can't get back out. He can't just drive home, and even if he was able to, he still would have the mob at his throat. This abrupt pause shows just how much John wants to go back to his normal life, but can't. Abram is firmly in the freeze response here, with his mouth wide open as his respiration rate continues to be elevated. He's preparing to encounter a stressor, and enters the freeze response, with his basal ganglia system suppressing non-essential motor output to reduce his visual profile, making him harder to spot by a potential predator. He realizes that he's powerless here, so his defense mechanism forces him to freeze. John is expressing a complete lack of facial or mouth tension here, despite being in a physical confrontation, and this really does demonstrate his skill and training. When the defense mechanism gets triggered, we experience a massive spike in muscle tension as our arousal increases. John isn't showing any of that here, showing that his amygdala hasn't actually flagged that he's in a lot of danger. His arousal is tightly regulated, allowing for greater prefrontal processing and good fine motor control, both of which degrade when under high arousal. It shows that he's extremely experienced. So when the massive guy throws him on the floor, this is when we begin to see John express more facial tension. The shock and pain from being thrown causes his amygdala to increase his sympathetic activation, leading to increased arousal. It's why he shoots the guy in the legs. He realizes that he is no longer in a state to fight effectively. He then immediately performs a grounding behavior, leaning on the car to generate proprioceptive feedback which helps stabilize himself and reduces the strain of maintaining balance. He is utterly exhausted here and is beginning to feel vulnerable.
Mir.
Abram is still in the freeze response here, and doesn't move as to not act confrontational to provoke a reaction, which is actually very wise when you're dealing with John Wick. He also continues to show signs of elevated respiration rate, as his brain prepares him to defend himself. He is again utterly terrified of John.
Такой фраер хочет бить, нет предела.
Почему бы нет?
Мир.
So Abram performs what's called the smile mask here, smiling when John asks why not. The smile isn't genuine, it's a controlled social mask to hide his disagreement. He knows that John is being willfully ignorant, and that his actions will inevitably have consequences, but chooses not to challenge him directly. John is so consumed by revenge that he ignores the inevitable fallout, and that's ultimately what these films are about. John slowly facing the consequences of his revenge. It's an extremely detailed and well acted scene.